You can't half step your way into greatness. You really got to be all in on yourself. Because the reality is that if you don't take yourself seriously, who else will? Hey everyone, Jessica Santana, host of Behind the Work, and I want to thank each and every one of you who has been tapped in and tuned in since the launch of the show in 2025. I've been so excited about the progress that we're making. And I know a lot of that has to do with the community that taps in and tunes in via YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify every single week. I don't take it lightly that you can be spending your time anywhere and yet you're choosing to spend your time with me. So I decided that it would be a good idea now that we're over a year into the show to recap some of the most important lessons that we've learned together on this journey. The lessons that we've learned together has a lot to do with the mindsets and the behaviors that ambitious people need to have in order to make sure that they stay the course on their dreams. So without further ado, on today's episode, we are going to be exploring 10 lessons, 10 whole lessons on what we can be doing every single day to show up as the best and highest version of ourselves. So, I hope that you find this episode incredibly helpful. And make sure that you tap in, you subscribe on YouTube, you subscribe on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, and that you follow us on social media. I hope to see you all soon and enjoy today's episode. Lesson one, don't wait for the right time. You really just got to start. So many of my guests talked about launching projects, businesses, or careers without having every detail figured out. And honestly, that's how most of us begin. I think a lot of us delay starting because we want to feel ready, but readiness is a myth. You become ready through action. The clarity comes after the leap and not before. And I want you to remember this: progress is always better than perfection. You'll learn more by doing than you'll ever learn by sitting on an idea, waiting for everything to align. So if you've been sitting on something, this is your nudge. Just start. I waited a long time to start behind the work because of my own fears, because I was waiting for the right time, because I couldn't see how I was going to make the time to manage the show and then also manage, my businesses. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Jessica, if this is important to you, you will find a way, and whatever is not for you, you will either miss it. Well, whatever's not for you, you will miss it. Whatever is for you, you won't miss it. And I just want you all to know that you don't have to ask for permission, from the world to get started on your dreams. Lesson two, you got to take big bets on yourself. If there's one pattern I saw over and over again in the guests that I've highlighted this season, it was that people took wild, courageous bets on themselves. And that means investing in an idea that no one understands yet. It means quitting the job. It means launching the thing, saying yes to things that are scary, saying yes to exciting opportunities, because playing it safe might feel more secure, but in the long term, you lose time, you lose momentum, and you even lose self trust. And every guest I had this season said that they were the best investments that they can make in themselves. So take the risk because you really are worth it. And remember that you never ever lose. You either win or you learn. Lesson number three, doing business with friends is a flex. We've all heard people say and never do business with friends, but this season we challenge that because doing business with people you love, trust, and believe in, that's a blessing. It's a flex and it's part of the legacy that we build. That doesn't mean it's easy, and you still need to obviously structure your boundaries and contracts and real communication. But when it's rooted in respect and shared vision, it creates magic. So don't let fear or outdated rules block you from collaborating with your circle. Just move smart and honor the relationship as much as you honor the work. Lesson 4: putting God at the center of your business is the key to entrepreneurial success. If I'll say it plainly, your business can't go further than your faith. When God is the CEO, the decisions hit different. The strategy feels more aligned. The vision is bigger than you. So many guests this season said, I didn't know this was going to work, but I felt called to it. And that is what I call alignment. That is what alignment sounds like. For me, I've learned that every time I move without God, I end up doing double the work and getting half the peace. Put your vision in the divine hands. It won't make things easier, but it will make them clearer. Lesson 5: rest is powerful for the mind, body, and spirit. This world will have you believing that rest is weakness, that hustle is the only path to success. But if your mind is foggy and your spirit is heavy and your body is exhausted, what are you really building? Rest isn't a break from the work. Rest is the work. It's in rest that we recover. It's in stillness that clarity comes. And if you don't make rest a priority, your body will eventually force you to. This season reminded me that rest isn't lazy. It's about prioritizing leadership. Lesson 6: building something from scratch takes years. We're so conditioned to expect quick wins, but every guest who built something meaningful, they took years of trial and error, years of no's before the yes, years of questioning, pivoting, learning. And I think we need to normalize that, because sometimes we internalize the slow pace and think we're falling behind when we're actually just planting roots. So don't compare your year 1 to someone's year 10. You got to trust your timeline and build something that can stand the test of time and not just align with current trends. Lesson 7: playing about yourself is not an option. This one is personal. Too many of us shrink because we're afraid of being too much. We dim our light. We play small to make others comfortable. But the work you're being called to do, it requires the full volume of you. You can't half step your way into greatness. You really gotta be all in on yourself. Because the reality is that if you don't take yourself seriously, who else will? There's power in reinvention. Sometimes the version of you that got here can't take you there. Reinvention isn't about failure, it's about alignment. Growth is going to require you to evolve, and that might look like changing your mind, ending a chapter, starting fresh. And to be honest with you, some of the most powerful episodes this season were about people choosing to become new versions of themselves boldly and loudly. Don't let fear of what people will say keep you stuck in an outdated version of you. You have to reinvent, you have to reclaim, and you do have to repeat as needed. Pivoting is not a failure. We've been taught that changing directions means you messed up, and that's a lie. Because pivoting is wisdom. It means you've learned something and you're acting on that knowledge. And so if something no longer aligns, you have to move. You have to let it go. You have to try something new. The most successful people I know pivot often, and they pivot boldly. The bonus lesson of this season is you got to love yourself at your lowest. It's easy to be proud of yourself when things are going well. But what about when you're unsure and you're broken and you're rejected and you're lost? That's when it all really matters. This season showed me how important it is to honor yourself and in the in between. To look at yourself even when it's messy and to say, I still got me. That's a flex that nobody can take from you. And remember, keep being you, and remember that you are the person that you've been waiting for. Thanks for tuning in. Mwah.